Welcome back, everybody. In this lesson, we are going to answer the question, how can you solve multi-digit division problems using partial quotients? But today, we're going to learn a second method for doing it. In the first video, what we did is we learned how to put the partial quotients that we found right in this area here, right around where you can see me. But today, that's new, we're actually going to put all of our partial quotients on top of this house here, okay? So I'm going to model for you the same problem that I modeled in the first video, method 1, where we had 192 students that were going on a field trip and we had to put them into 8 equal groups. So to begin, I'm going to be thinking of 192 in expanded form. And that's 100 plus 90 plus 2, just to kind of help me guide the numbers I'm going to divide, okay? So I'm going to begin with how many 8s are in 100, like I put right here. And I know that there are at least 10 groups of 8. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the 10 up here, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply 10 times 8, and I'm going to write 80, the same way as the last video. And I'm going to do the same subtraction, okay? So I get 2, 1, and 1, so I have 112. Then my next step is I'm going to say how many 8s are in 100 or 112 without going over. And I could say there's at least another 10. So I'm going to place 10 right here, and that's my next partial quotient. And I'm going to multiply 10 times 8, and I'm going to get 80, and do the same subtraction. 32. So now I have 32 students left to divide up, and the last step I'm going to say how many 8s are in 32, and I know that there are 4 groups of 8 in 32. I'll multiply 4 times 8, that's 32. I'll fit in the 0 here, and I know that 32 minus 32 is 0. But now, don't forget, we still have to add up all of these partial products. I know that 4 plus 10 gives me 24. And there is no remainder, as you can see down here, so my answer is 24. For your first practice problem, I'd like you to divide 875 by 4. Use the method that I did in the model problem, and then please hit the play button and watch how I solve it. Okay, so now that you've solved it and you've pushed play, let's go ahead and begin. So I know that 4 goes into 800. I know how many groups of 4 are in 800. I could say there's at least 200 groups. And I could say 200. And 200 times 4 is 800. Subtract. And then I'm going to say how many 4s are in 75 without going over. Well, I know 10 times 4 is 40. 20 times 4 is 80. So let's stick to 10 here. So I know there's at least another 10 groups. I know 10 times 4 is 40. I'm going to subtract and get, oh, not 13. It's actually 35. And now think, how many 4s are in 35? I know that there are at least 8 because that would be 32. So I could say 8. And I know 8 times 4 is 32. And I'm going to subtract. 5 minus 2 is 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. So now I know that my divisor is larger than the last number I have here, which means that 3 that you can see down here is my remainder. It's what I have left over. So if I add up my partial quotients, I know that my answer is, let's see, I have 8. Make that an 8 you can see. Oh, put that in a better spot for you. And I know that I have 8, 1, and 2. I know that my answer is, because I'll put the remainder up here, 218 with a remainder of 3. So for practice problem 2 and 3, these are listed, so please hit the pause button. Please solve these 2 problems, and we will go over them in class. Once again, you learned the second method for solving multi-digit division problems using partial products. Good luck, and if you have any questions, please let me know.